The Happy Valley Dream Survey. I have no idea what this is referring to. By Nick Crowley. I see you somewhere in dreamland. Okay.
So many of us are having so many crazy dreams these days.
In 2015, a mystery began around the area of Portland, Oregon. A mystery
Bro, it would be Portland.
Surrounding a survey that wanted to know about our dreams. A mystery that now, 5 years later, has started again.
Please leave a detailed description of your dream at the tone.
It was around April when the flyers started to appear. They were posted on signs, bulletin boards, and telephone poles. They were glanced over by many, but for the few who stopped to read them, they were left genuinely creeped out. The flyers read, "Have you been having strange dreams? The Willamette Valley Dream Survey is investigating a recent spike in bizarre, unexplainable dreams. If you have been experiencing any unusual dream activity, you can help by reporting a summary. Please call with a description of your dream." No further information was provided, except for a phone number. There was just something about it. It's such a strange request, and it's all so vague.
What time period was this in? I heard mention of the dreaded C word, the virus, as I like to call it. I'm pretty sure we can say the word on YouTube at this point in time. There was a period of time where they did not like that word. I mean, to be fair, the virus being a mass traumatic incident for a lot of people, right? As minimalistic as Karen not being able to get her hair cut to, places being shut down and making business impossible for people. Like, and people obviously losing loved ones. Like, it's a mass traumatic incident for a lot of people, especially with people being cooped up. I can tell you from firsthand experience, when I'm cooped up for, a couple of weeks doing, React content and streams and stuff, and I don't actually go outside, I definitely start to have some really, really rough dreams, and definitely start to feel, like I need to get out and do some stuff. Absolutely. So, I mean, of the era, it seems like a pretty innocuous kind of, like, request, if you will. I don't know. This is a strange one.
Who's behind this? Why do they want to know about my dreams? And was there truly a spike in unexplainable dreams? As it turns out, the answers to these questions wouldn't be easy to find. Upon reading the posted flyers, many searched online for any information about the survey because something about it just didn't seem right. And if you were going to share your personal dreams, you'd likely want to know who's on the other end of the line, but nothing turned up. Google searches for the Willamette Valley Dream Survey failed to turn up any results, and no one in the area had any idea what this was all about. There was seemingly no trace of the survey, except for on these flyers.
I mean, to be fair, though, did you not volunteer the information? I mean, yes, absolutely. You kind of want to make sure, like, yeah, I'm giving my information to somebody if this is for a greater cause or something like that, or, data collection, whatever. But, like, you just called a random phone number and just gave them dream information. You've volunteered that information for all intents and purposes.
This is a Channel 2 news brief.
Around this time, a few local news sites picked up on the story, with one actually tracking the origin of the telephone number. Strangely, the number had previously been affiliated with a German language immersion program that was based in Oregon. But upon contacting the program, the school director said that the number was no longer in use by them, and that they weren't affiliated with the survey whatsoever. So who exactly that phone number belongs to was still left a mystery. But there was one more big discovery that this article made. There's all this intrigue around this survey, but did anyone actually try and call? And does the phone number even work? Well, according to this article, it actually did. When you call the number, the phone rings for a few seconds before an automated female voice eventually answers. The robotic voice says,
Thank you for calling the Willamette Valley Dream Survey. Please leave a detailed account of your dream after the tone. Transcripts or audio from your report may be duplicated in other media.
After this,
There's a clear legal disclosure in there too. Maybe duplicate in other media. So even if they don't ever get back to you, even if like, you volunteered that information.
tone played, and there was nothing but silence. No further information, just silence. Upon telling your dream to this number, you hang up, and that's the end of that. No one heard back from whoever was behind this survey. No one got a follow-up text. They simply now had your dream, and that was that. But all this shows us something very important. That whoever is behind this put in serious effort to set up this automated messaging system, and that the phone number is in fact real and operational. This shows me that this wasn't just a hoax that someone quickly pulled together to maybe creep some people out. Either this was some sort of elaborate, well thought out ARG, or it was actually real.
I mean, it could also be a project on as a social commentary, right? This is pre-virus. This is 2019. Gotcha. I actually knew where I was working when this happened. Then okay, that's strange. I mean, it could be a commentary in regards to people giving up information and something as seemingly innocent, contextless as like dreams and stuff, right? I could see maybe an argument for that, a social commentary, raising awareness. It's hard to say.
Aside from the Oregon Live article, this case gained its most exposure when it was brought to Reddit. Perhaps in an attempt to find answers, a Redditor by the name of Marcus Yallo snapped a picture of one of the flyers on a telephone pole. This gave the mystery national recognition, with people all over the country being captivated by this off-putting flyer. However, scrolling through this thread, it doesn't appear to have brought forth any actual answers. But there is a reason that I mentioned this post, and that's because some of the comments. The majority of the comments left behind on this thread consist of people saying that they actually had been having some strange dreams that week, with many stating that they were the strangest of their lives. One person wrote, "I have had 2 dreams that I can remember in my entire life before this week. This week, I've had so many that I've woken up in a full panicked sweat, believing that they were real, very vivid, very strange, and very real. Something is going on, either in the water or the air." Perhaps this was just a strange coincidence, but maybe there actually was some type of increase in unexplainable dreams. But how could it be possible? Despite the interest that this case gained in 2015, its popularity soon died down. There was never any real progress made on solving this mystery, and many just gave up on it altogether. We knew that the number worked, and we knew that people really were having strange dreams.
So 2015, so this video was made 5 years ago, so 2020, this would be about 2015, 2016 then, yes, okay.
But we knew nothing else. The mystery lived on, but the intrigue didn't. But the dream survey would eventually appear again, only this time, it would come with a darker twist. On April 30th, 2020, a post was made on Reddit with the title, "Saw this strange poster this morning in Utah. Anyone know anything about this?" The post was accompanied by a photo of a flyer taped onto a sign. The flyer read, "Have you been having strange dreams?" The Happy Valley Dream Survey is investigating a recent spike in bizarre, unexplainable dreams. If you have been experiencing any unusual dream activity, you can help by reporting a summary. Please contact and leave a description of your dream. And just like
So, unless the number, because the number has to belong to somebody, right? Like it did before, there is someone with knowledge obviously that's probably locked behind NDA, confidentiality, whatever, right? Like, it's locked behind. You can't just ask like, hi, who owns this number, right? I'm sure it's like, why do you need to know this, right? Unless there's some kind of like warrant or some kind of relevant reason law enforcement needs to look into it, right? Like, someone knows who made this. They have to, right? Clearly.
That, the mystery was back again. Now this bears an obvious resemblance to the flyer for the Willamette Valley Dream Survey, except this time it was called the Happy Valley Dream Survey. And rather than being located in Oregon, this flyer was posted in Utah. And for context reasons, I should point out that Happy Valley is the nickname for that specific location in Utah, and Willamette Valley was the nickname for the location that the Oregon flyers were found. Another slight variation is that the most recent flyer included an email address, and the phone numbers were different despite it seemingly coming from the same person or group. But other than that, the similarities are obvious, and much like the Willamette Valley Dream Survey, it also has a working phone number.
Dude's pronunciation of Oregon confused. Oh, you've never had oregano? You don't put oregano on your pizza?
The day the story broke, a YouTube account by the name of One Regit actually called the number and recorded the entire thing.
I love how it took until a YouTuber to do this. Just like, guys, what if we film calling the thing?
Please leave a detailed description of your dream at the tone.
Last night... Whoa, there's like feedback.
Almost immediately after the robotic voice finishes its message, feedback can be heard on the other end of the line.
Last night...
Feedback that likely indicates that someone was listening in.
Interesting, because it does sound like, I don't know, like water running or something. Like, it sounds like there is, like it's active.
So someone from the survey likely entered this phone call and was listening as he was speaking.
That's interesting.
Those who called this number claimed that immediately following the phone call, they received a text thanking them for their participation in the survey. Due to how quickly everyone received this text and the fact that it was sent to seemingly everyone who called.
That in itself could be they probably have the template. If someone is active there, they probably pull up the number, and then just paste it in and then send it once the call concludes. So it's not like they're typing it out each and every time. They're just copy pasting it. That in itself is not the strange. I mean, obviously the strange part is clearly just like the call ended. Grats, thanks for the survey. Like there is some feedback. There's some paying attention.
It appears to be some sort of automated text. This again shows just how much work must have gone into this if it were in fact fake. But this wasn't the end of it. Those who called also reported that they received a call back from the number, calls that would happen at random hours of the night. The phone would only ring for a few seconds and then quickly hang up, making it all but impossible to answer it on time. Now, much like the original Willamette Valley Dream Survey, there doesn't seem to be any real conclusions on what this survey really is. Some believe that there truly has been an increase in strange dreams, which a quick Google search actually reveals to be true, thanks to...
Once we talked about this earlier, people being cooped inside, mass traumatic event for people, which people are still recovering from, not necessarily from in a like physical sense, right? Like much more in the like people don't know how to talk to each other anymore. Communication is broken down. People are more and more polarized. People are more and more irate and unruly. A number of things can stem from the virus and how that just broke people. So there being an uptick in vivid dreams, clearly there was a lot of stress on people. This honestly makes a lot of sense to me.
The current pandemic.
Causing some to have sleepless nights. Others are in fact experiencing the very opposite, more vivid dreams.
Because of this, some people think that this is actually being done by scientists to gather data, but I do have my doubts about that. Why would the survey be so ominous and so vague? Plus, why would they need to know the specifics? Others think that this could be a group investigating similar dreams that we are all collectively having, which would indicate that something like the man is happening again, only this time it's real.
I'm sorry, what? I don't think I've heard of this one.
Like the man.
Every night all over the world, hundreds of people see this face in their dreams. As the man appears in your dream chair, if you have any information to help us identify him, please Did I just miss an entire internet rabbit hole? I probably did. I missed several of these, honestly. I can't say that I personally have. However, this could be a cognito hazard of sorts where suddenly, thus you see it, and now you are predisposed to thinking of the thing because subconsciously you're thinking of the thing because, wow, I have seen this, or no, I have not seen of this, right? Yeah, I don't know. It's a... There's a couple, couple great ways I could tackle this. This definitely feels like I missed an entire internet rabbit hole, honestly.
And is happening again, only this time it's real. But what would they want to know about our specific dreams? Why would that be important? What could they signify? What could they mean? That's something that we'll get to in a minute, but there's something we have to cover first. Because with every mystery, there are twists and turns, and for the Happy Valley Dream Survey, the biggest were yet to come.
I think I did have some pretty bad vivid dreams in 2020, actually, now I think about it. There was a few bad ones I had, especially because I'm very prone to, especially when I have a vivid dream, when it shifts. Like, there is true terror in those. I remember 2019 New Year's Eve going into 2020. I can't like state this because people are gonna call bullcrap on it. Like, people are gonna be like, nah, it actually didn't happen, right? I went to bed in a really bad mood the night prior, like really depressive mood. But then I woke up January 1st, 2020. I distinctly remember I like opened my eyes. And my first initial thought was, this is the world this is the year the world changes. I kid you not. To which people are going to be like, nah, it's cap, bro. That never happened. I very distinctly remember that moment. Believe if you will. Don't believe if you will. It's up to you. Ultimately, that rests with you. But I very distinctly remember that. It felt off. Like, I just woke up with that understand. I remember waking up too. It's just kind of like I opened my eyes, not so much like, I kind of just like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And then they're just like, kind of like, like get myself. It was like, I just kind of like woke up and I'm like, this is the year the world changes. I had there's nothing that led to that, which was interesting. And then we had, what was it? Throughout the year, I had some pretty bad ones. One of them was a really awful horror dream, actually. What was it? The scene, it was kind of, I was escaping the xenomorph effectively, or multiple xenomorphs. And it was a heart pounder. It was rough. Yeah, it was rough. And then eventually it led to me, one of the few instances where I've been able to actually lucid dream effectively, because the ending of the dream I very distinctly remember was like the scene from AVP with all the xenomorphs climbing the pyramid. It was explaining how AVP happens, right? How the Yautja try to, breed the xenomorphs, fight the xenomorphs, but if they fail, then they just, cataclysm event, right? Like that. And then it like transitioned to a like title screen, like play, load game, etc., with a like a pan from left to right of green and black xenomorph art, like green tinge xenomorph art. To which the vivid dreamer in me actually perked up because it normally doesn't. Like, this is a very rare oddity. And I ejected the VHS, and then I kind of just woke up. That was another strange one, actually. There were a couple others. Usually I have dreams that usually like, I call them prophetic jokingly, but usually it's because there's something in my life that I'm usually not like looking forward to. So, for instance, I used to know someone. Her and I were kind of close in certain aspects, but there was some issues behind the scenes going on, and I distinctly remember a dream of Kylo Ren versus Rey, and just inherently understanding that was person ended up actually kind of just dipping out of my life not soon after that as well. And then last year, 2024. I haven't been the same since this. I've talked about it a few times on reactions. I have not been the same since this happened, where I was fighting Nezarec, unironically having a nightmare about fighting Nezarec. And Nezarec actually ganked me. Like, actually just like 86'd unalive in dream. That was a strange feeling. And then I got resurrected, came back, absolutely proceeded to clap Nezarec. And then I don't know. I haven't felt the same since. I don't know how to word it. And I guess you could, it's the psychological understanding of being unalived in a dream, being able to feel yourself kind of leave your body, so to speak. But I don't know. Like, I have not been the same since that. The one that I usually end up citing is this is the last one I'll share. The one that I usually end up citing is because dreams will go from fine to horrifying in seconds, especially when they're super vivid. Because I remember walking outside of something that was like this house. There's glass sliding door leading out to like a river and a path, right? But there were some like what looked like birds for a second. I'm actually getting chills kind of remembering this actually because it was horrifying. It looked like imagine like birds doing like yoga. You know when people stand and they'll squat their legs down and they move their arms down to like flex and then they'll stand back up and they move their arms up, kind of like slow jumping jacks. But like my brain rationalized that they were birds somehow, like just big F off birds. And then this was last year. This is 2024 as well. So 2020 I had some stuff. 2024 I had some stuff. I'd have to check back as far as like 2016 and stuff. I've been prone to, when I do have dreams, very vivid dreams. But I don't know. It was something that like they weren't birds. There was something that was telling me to not pay attention to them. But the moment I was like, hold up, there's something wrong. They weren't birds. They were people. And the fact that I paid attention to them, there was about 5 of them. They did not like this. They all, I remember, like the whole dream just shifted. It became an absolute nightmare, like actual true terror in seconds. As I had these 5 yoga doing people, they all just turned at me. I can't remember if their eyes were black or not. I'm not. Brains are good at misremembering stuff. I'm gonna say they weren't. I don't remember. But yeah, all I know is I had to get out of that situation. To which I ran back inside said house, closed glass sliding door. And then I think my dad was saying something because he was in the dream for some reason. But yeah, it's you have no understanding of the situation sometimes, other than it is horrifying in like actual true terror status. I don't know. It's so strange. I've talked about it a couple times. But this is kind of a relevant video to talk about that. Yeah, all fun things, I assure you.
On Reddit, users AliensDid9LL and 1Reddit were seemingly leading this whole investigation and were incredibly active in trying to figure things out. Others were chiming in here and there with bits of information, but these two were clearly in it the deepest. On the original post, 1Reddit had mentioned how he was feeling uneasy about everything, and he was beginning to get worried about what he had gotten himself into. At the time, this was something that did concern me, but ultimately, I didn't think too much of it. But after I had initially recorded this entire video, I woke up the next day to discover that both of these users had disappeared from Reddit. Not just in the sense that they were unactive, but their actual accounts had been deleted. Along with this, the video that 1Reddit had posted that showed his phone call with the dream survey was gone too. So now the question
deleted or taken down, like takedown request,
is what happened to them? Well, it's possible that these two ventured too deep within this rabbit hole and they found out the truth behind this incredibly secretive survey, and they discovered something that they weren't supposed to see.
Sure.
Maybe they panicked and they deleted their accounts in a desperate attempt to distance themselves from the situation. Maybe what they found really was that bad. After their disappearance, multiple posts were made questioning their whereabouts from people who were genuinely invested in this mystery, and also for those who were just worried about the two.
I saw the RBI, Reddit Bureau Investigation. I saw that.
The people who made these posts were met with threatening messages from anonymous users. Some of these threats were, "Trust me about the dream studies. Don't look into it any further." One Reddit, an aliens did 9LL, deleted their accounts on purpose. This is not a marketing scam. It goes deeper than you think. And this is not a marketing scam. Don't make the same mistakes I did. So how deep does this all go? What could this survey be hiding that's so secretive? Well, sometimes the only way to solve a mystery is to jump down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, I figured this is
I
leading
wanted to
into
call
this.
the number for the Happy Valley Dream Survey, but for multiple reasons, I didn't want to use my own phone.
Right, which makes sense.
You're about to buy a burner.
Yo, the dude with the track phone.
I don't think I've ever been this sketchy in my life. We got the goods. I sat down with my brother Patrick and my girlfriend Mariah to make the phone call, because oddly enough, they both had had strange dreams during my process of making this video. Here you go.
Please leave a detailed description of your dream at the tone.
So it was currently still active as of at least this time, this video, 2020.
So I woke up with my brother in this weird like indoor resort kind of place that was really run down. And this one guy yelled at me like, "Hey, like how you doing?" I was like, "Oh, good." And I like turned to keep following my brother Nick, and he's like sprinting away. I'm like, "Okay, well I guess I better run too." And while I'm running, this guy like catches up to me almost immediately. And he like knocks me over and starts dragging me away, and I'm kicking and screaming. He's like telling me all these horrible things, like he's gonna cut me up and like take me back like to him and his buddies, and like for years they're gonna like have their way with me and like all this horrible stuff. And I completely recognize him for some reason, and it was Rob Lowe. So I don't know why.
Immediately after our phone call had ended, I received a text from the number thanking me for my participation.
I mean, I guess if I were a gambling man, if I were to try to do the whole Charlie Always Sunny in Philadelphia thing with the board, the pins, and the strings, I would say there would be a lot of people in 2020 at least who would have had dreams of terror, dreams of trying to run from things, dreams of being unable to escape things. I guess kind of mirroring my own like xenomorph type dreams, right? In certain ways, it's similar. There's similar parts, aspects of his horror dream to my xenomorph one, I guess, if I had to really put pen to paper. I would assume that there would be a trend of this. There would be themes of loss, there would be themes of feeling trapped, there would be themes of being unable to escape. I feel like these would be common points.
Okay, but right after we hung up, we got a text message. This confirmed to me that these initial messages were in fact automated. Though I still wasn't sure if the Willamette Valley Dream Survey was connected to any of this, I still wanted to try calling just to see if anything would come from it. We don't even know if this phone number is active. That's the craziest part.
Thank you for calling the Willamette Valley
Wild.
Dream Survey. Please leave a detailed account of your dream after the tone. Transcripts or audio from your report may be duplicated in other media.
So last night I had a really horrifying dream about me and my boyfriend. He started like pushing me under the water and I couldn't breathe. In my dream, I just felt like I couldn't breathe and that my lungs were filling up with water. The dream ended abruptly when my boyfriend woke me up.
So I was the hero and the villain of that story, I guess. Wow. With both phone calls made.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, right? Similar feeling of inability to escape. Feeling like you're being pushed into a position which you cannot escape from, whether in the first dream you're being dragged or the second you're being held underwater. Very similar.
I decided to text the Happy Valley number to see if I could provoke a response. Initially, I texted the number asking who runs this, along with a few other texts to try and get their attention. That night, I heard nothing back. But the following afternoon, I received my first response. The number simply responded, "Happy Valley Dream Survey," and nothing else.
Huh.
Immediately, I followed up by asking, "What is this for?" After half an hour, I received another text. "I'm sorry my responses are limited. You must ask the right question."
Interesting. He's not the first person to text them. Okay. That's... Okay, that's actually really interesting.
Within minutes, I responded by asking, "Are you a real person?" But I heard nothing back. And the next morning, I began growing increasingly desperate. As a Hail Mary attempt, I asked, "What is the right question?"
Fair,
But
direct.
as the day neared an end, I couldn't help but think that I had reached a dead end. That was until, out of the blue, 9 hours after my previous text, my phone buzzed. 2 consecutive texts were sent. The first reading, "That is the right question," with the follow-up being, "9 goes, 5 jit."
That's actually really interesting that that was the correct response. It was the most direct. Personally, I wouldn't have come to that conclusion until far later. Huh. This is a rabbit hole.
Immediately I started trying to make sense of it. I plugged the phrase into Google, but nothing but gibberish came up. I typed the individual words into Google Translate, but again, I got nothing. I knew the phrase wasn't likely just gibberish. It had to mean something, but I wasn't sure if I would be able to crack it. And that's when I got a break. Looking up 9 Go, I found an obscure site that translated the phrase into Creole Haitian, but that site showed its translation to French as Septanum. And Septanum translated to English meant September. So 9 Go translates
9th
to
of September.
So September 5 jit was what we were left with, which is all that I needed to know. It all made sense. Currently on Reddit, there is a growing movement from what many claim to be a cult. A cult named 5 September 2020.
Yeah, I missed this entire development.
This cult believes that some type of apocalyptic event is going to unfold on September 5th, an event that's going to be carried out by some secretive organization.
I need to see how well this aged. I need to see this. Give me a second. September 9th, 2020 events. We're gonna read the AI overview because it's actually really funny. September 9th, well, at least the first section of it is September 9th, 2020. Several notable events occurred, including a significant drop in Tesla stock. Hilarious. The release of a book by Bob Woodward with a certain president's interviews. Don't really know who that is. Resignation of Rochester police leader following protests. Additionally, there are reports of wildfire in the Moria Reception Identification Center in Greece. Day was also designated as Orange Sky Day due to smoke from wildfires in Northern California. I'm sure more happened. I'm sure much more happened, but that's what I'm pulling up from Google AI personally. So, as I said, I'm sure that there is potentially more, but I mean, hindsight is we have the value of hindsight in this.
And quickly scrolling through this sub, it appears that dreams are deeply rooted within this cult's mythology. Some posts even suggest that dreams could be the secret to surviving this impending disaster. So maybe the cult set this survey up for research purposes. Or maybe they think that our dreams could actually be visions of the end of the world, and they're investigating mass dreams that our population has been experiencing lately.
Man, dude, I'm ready for the xenomorphs. Bro, that would be so cool.
So it appears that the Happy Valley Dream Survey may have actually been set up by a cult as research for the end of the world. Now there are still a few questions left over, but one of the most important questions out of all this is, what happened to the two Redditors? Well, perhaps they found the same information that I did, and the 5 September group came after them. Or maybe they were working with the group the entire time, and their disappearance was a stunt to draw more people to the movement.
It could be.
And what about the original
Marketing.
Willamette Valley survey? Well, as I got deeper within this mystery, I actually started to believe more and more that these two cases are separate. But I discovered something just hours before I was about to post this video. It appears that there was a similar group on Reddit to the September 5th cult that was afraid the world would end back in 2015. And though I don't know much about that group, it appears that they were also having dreams and visions of the end of the world. The group's name was April 30th, 2015, which also happens to be the exact day that the flyers were first found in Portland, Oregon. So it's all very likely that both of these surveys were set up by doomsday cults.
Don't worry, we're just going camping at the end of the world. What a strange rabbit hole. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me actually that we definitely had some potential doomsday believers doing some stuff. I don't know. It's one of those that, like, I mean, they're not hurting anybody realistically, right? Let's be real. They're not really hurting anybody. Reasonably, people are allowed to believe what they want to believe, especially until people want to get hurt. We also have seen, especially with cults, like we saw this with camping, right? Oh, well, the doomsday is this day, but now we're going to make it this day. And, oh, well, it was this day, and now we're going to make it this day, right? Like we've seen them push on and on and on and on and on into infinity for all intents and purposes. But at the end of the day, come to your best conclusion, come to your most educated conclusions. I also view this as a commentary, and be careful what you give out, because you don't know what people are going to be watching, what people are going to be listening, for what purpose they're going to be redistributing it for, right? Let's be real, let's be honest, right? Let's be fair and objective. And yeah, do your research, come to your own conclusions, but make sure you're being safe about it. Thank you everyone for watching. I'll see you in the next one.